Please, don't mock at my attempts to understand how the other half lives. Give me credit for some sort of groping sincerity in that at least. I would like to help them. I would like to be of use in this world. Is it my fault? I don't know how. I would like to be sincere, to touch life somewhere. But I'm afraid I have none of the vitality nor integrity. All that was burnt up out in our stock before I was born. Grandfather, with his blast furnaces flaming to the sky, melting steel, making millions. And father, keeping those home fires burning, making more millions. And little me at the tail end of it all. I'm a waste product in the Bessemer process, like the millions. Or rather, I inherit the acquired trait of the byproduct, wealth, but none of the energy, none of the strength of the steel that made it. I'm sired by gold, yet darned by it, as they say at the racetrack. Damned in more ways than one. This monologue is a little different, and we're going to talk about it. This is from The Hairy Ape by Eugene O'Neil. This character is Mildred. If you don't know, Eugene O'Neil is considered one of the first great American playwrights. Before Eugene O'Neil, American theater was not really on the map, so to say, and Eugene O'Neil was influential in getting international notice of American theater, being really a contender like in that dramatic space. A lot of his work is steeped in realism, but this piece, The Hairy Ape, is not. In fact, when you read The Hairy Ape, at the very top it says, "This is not naturalistic." This is a style called Expressionism theater. Now, I don't have like an MFA in acting. I did not even get my bachelor's in acting. So all of my theater history and knowledge has come from my own independent programs that I've taken that have been excellent training, or just my own research and learning. So I say all of that to say, I'm not a dramaturg. I'm not an expert theater historian. This is my understanding. And Expressionism theater was actually new to me when I read The Hairy Ape. Because when I read it, the first time I read it, I was like, my eyes were crossing. Like I couldn't even, I had trouble understanding it. So like I did research on not only the playwright, but also the play. And it also brought me sort of down this rabbit hole of Expressionism theater. And Expressionism theater is really about extremes and leaning into stereotype to make a very specific statement. And in The Hairy Ape, we deal very directly with classism and racism. Mildred really is a symbol of the antagonist of the play. Mildred is, as you saw, a very wealthy young woman, and she feels just trapped by it, and she's on a cruise liner, and she wants to go down and see the workers who are like shoveling the coal to make the boat go. She wants to see them work and to reach out to them and build a relationship with basically lower class poor people. Her aunt is the person that she's talking to in the scene, and her aunt is like, don't do that, basically. And she's like, come on, now you're just making fun of me, and like, here's my problem. I'm just so wealthy. I'm so wealthy, I don't even have any skills. And don't you feel bad for me? It's like basically what this monologue is. So this play is just fascinating. It's in, I think it's like in 8 or 9 different scenes of different times. All the sets are these extreme exaggerations. They're not supposed to be realistic. Like when we first meet, it really centers around this character, Yank, who is sort of the foreman of the laborers. When we meet him, like it even says that the stage should be built, the set should be built so that they feel kind of like crushed and like caved in, and they have to sort of stand like this, like they're Neanderthals. So it sort of has this, so he sort of wants this physicality. And then there's a much later scene where we have more nobility. We're not on the boat anymore. We have more nobility, and they talk about they want all these stores with all these glittering, he wants all these stores with these glittering furs and gems, but they're all in all this really harsh artificial light, so it all looks cheap. And then when the nobility comes out in this scene with Yank, who is really our protagonist in this, there's some very specific movement that he wants the nobility to do as a crowd. And so I'm just going to read a little bit of the language here in the play. It says, "The crowd from the church enter from the right, sauntering slowly and affectedly, their heads held stiffly up, looking neither to the right nor left, talking in toneless, simpering voices." So they're sort of like, just really funny. But if you think about it, this is 1922. This is very much a commentary on the obsession of consumerism and wealth at the time, and maybe a little bit today. It says, "The women are rouged, calcimated, dyed, overdressed to the 9th degree. The men are in Prince Albert's, high hats, spats, canes, etc. A procession of gaudy marionettes." So want sort of this movement, yet with something of the relentless horror of Frankenstein's in their detached, mechanical unawareness. There's no question here that the antagonists in this play is the higher class wealthy people. That's what's interesting about Expressionism, is because it's supposed to be at these extremes in order to paint a very clear picture, which is so different than a lot of theater arts today. A lot of theater arts likes to leave the audience questioning and having these different interpretations. And I would say in this play, it's pretty clear what the point of view is and who is flawed, not because of who they are, but because of the systems in which they are subjected to. And that is the day laborers. They just can't ever catch a break. After this monologue, Mildred, because Mildred has influence because she is so wealthy, Mildred gets them to bring her down to meet the day laborers. And she goes down there. They have no idea they're coming. And remember, their set is like this, and they're like this, and they're dirty, and they're yelling at each other all the time. And Yank has this great mix of just huge emotional range, but also really poignant speeches, but then a really bad temper, and doesn't even realize how wise they are, but just feeling so put upon by the system, because Yank just can't ever get a leg up. And then Mildred comes down and sees Yank, who's this huge guy, he's all dirty, and she just screams like he's a monster. And she, really is looking at them. She's treating people like they're little zoo exhibits, like they're a big hairy ape. And this play is very much a commentary on that. Enough said about that. A pitfall. If we're working with known material and we don't do some basic research about it, it would be really easy to play Mildred as kind of the protagonist, and that this is very understandable, and that we should actually feel bad for Mildred. But if we do that, we break the structure of the play. We cannot play this as like Mildred has altruistic motives here. Mildred's bored. Mildred has had everything in life handed to her, and she will never have to do anything she doesn't want to do. And she's bored. It sort of reminds me, if you've seen it, of the character in The White Lotus in season 3. Like, maybe here Mildred believes she's earnest, but anyone looking can see that she is not. She just doesn't know it yet. Like, I just don't know it yet. I want a thrill. I want to mix it up, but I am using people for my own entertainment and for my own self-satisfaction, which is not something that an empathetic person does. Really fascinating stuff. If you liked this monologue, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, because we will definitely keep exploring more monologues and the 1000 Monologues Challenge together. Thanks so much.